So guys, welcome to another trip report flying South America's largest airline today, Latam, on the 787 Dreamliner -9 in business class on a fifth freedom flight from Auckland to Sydney. I've reviewed them like 2 years ago, but it was a time when my videos were still a bit weird. So now expect a very comprehensive and proper review of South America's largest airline from Auckland to Sydney on a 3-hour flight. So let's go to the gate. As a business class passenger on Latam, you get access to the Qantas lounge at Auckland Airport. LA 801 departs at 7:40 a.m. in the morning, with very little guests making use of the lounge. However, I found the airport was very easy to navigate and you will find plenty of shops and restaurants.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Great, and you? Please, 5L over there to the right. Thank you very much. Morning. Okay, that's great.
So here we are, welcome on board Latam's 787 Dreamliner. The -9, still in the old LAN livery, which you probably saw. And it comes with 30 seats in a 2-2-2 configuration, and they're all like forward facing. It's not too bad of a product, like forward facing and a 2-2-2. Well, some people may consider that outdated. Very nice first impression. The cabin manager greeted me in a very South American way, full of energy, which just brightens up your day a little more. However, they're introducing new seats on their premium fleet, so very much looking forward to see that. Hey, how are you? Thank you. Oh, there we go. Like another very personal welcome. Yeah, first impression, it is very welcoming experience, literally. Yeah, but let me quickly give you a seat tour here. This is it. This is the forward-facing seat. One issue with it is that the screen usually is fairly far away from you, especially if you're reclined or you're flat. So that is a bit of a disadvantage. As the sleeping experience on those forward-facing seats is usually a little better because the seat is wider, especially when you go flat. Here are your seat controls. You have a reading light. There is, I guess, I don't know what that is. It's not an it might be an amenity kit. It might also just be a bag to store your shoes. Then there is a remote control. And the funny thing is, the last time I flew in Latam 2 years ago, I did the United Fifth Freedom from Frankfurt to Madrid. Actually, my remote control was missing. There was just like a little cable sticking out. But this time, my seat seems to be complete. Here, this is also where your noise cancelling headphones are kept, and there's also a blanket ready at my seat. The in-flight entertainment of Latam is well stocked up and offers a good range of international movies as well as South American movies. Unfortunately though, Latam doesn't offer any in-flight Wi-Fi of any of its flights on their entire fleet. There's going to be a proper breakfast on this flight. I ordered an omelette, but you could also have like an active breakfast, so like a healthier version, I guess. And what's the story of this flight? It actually departs from Santiago de Chile, takes a 12-hour flight to Auckland, and then lands in Auckland, obviously. Has 3 hours on the ground. The crew changes. It flies to Sydney and then back from Sydney to Auckland, and from Auckland back to Chile. So this is the Fifth Freedom flights. They have a few of them. The most popular is probably the one from Frankfurt to Madrid, which is usually very affordable and praised as one of the best intra-European business class flights, because as you probably know, flying business class in Europe is rather uneventful. Also quite interesting to know, Latam is going to leave the One World Alliance, which they have been part of for the longest time, and they might be joining the Sky team since Delta bought a big share of the Latam group. I also just received a hot towel. So we've been an hour into the flight, and there's a cute little breakfast served, an omelette with some mushrooms and cherry tomatoes, croissant, a bun, as well as a coffee, and some marmalade. So for this short little 3-hour flight, I reckon that is a really nice breakfast. So but now let's see what it tastes like. So I must say that this was a very delicious breakfast. Very fresh ingredients. It was still nice and warm. The croissant, the bun, very fresh. Also the jam, in terms of quality, probably one of the best I've had in a very long time. And also pretty impressed by the cabin crew. Right after the breakfast was served, you would have the cabin manager go around and ask everyone personally whether they like their breakfast, whether everything is okay, which is a great service experience, you know. And this flight is full, and he does check up or like follow up with every single passenger here in business class. So talking about personalized service, I am positively surprised by Latam, because when I flew them the last time from Frankfurt to Madrid, I had to search for the crew because they would literally be anywhere but in the cabin. So this set of crew does a really great job. So we are halfway through the flight. Breakfast service was pretty impressive. Something I don't like about this seat is probably that there is not as much privacy. If you happen to have a seat neighbor, as I do, and even though she's a super lovely lady, had a quick chat with her, it does sacrifice on privacy. I've seen that they introduce new seats on the 7-8 with Latam. But this one is still features the older generation. I also find the screen to be rather small, especially like when you sit back all the way as well. Regardless, still very happy with this flight, since the crew is making a massive difference here, and they contribute to my overall very positive experience here. An advantage with those forward-facing seats is that they are more spacious, they're wider, so you usually have a better sleeping experience in those ones. I always like to point out Turkish Airlines on their 777, where they have those forward-facing seats, but they're extremely wide, even though it comes in a 232 configuration, which is also pretty outdated. However, that's my summary so far, and I think it's not going to change much until we reach Sydney. And maybe now is a good time to like the video and to subscribe to my channel, because after this I'm off to Brisbane on Virgin Australia. Tomorrow I'll be flying Air New Guinea on the 767, so there's a lot of videos to come. So here we are, this is the lavatory here on the Dreamliner of Latam. And first thing I've noticed is I'm getting a lot of grey hair. I'm turning into a silver fox apparently. Yeah, that's like the disadvantages of turning older. But yeah, it's a very nice scent in here. There is no special amenities here. I mean, there's body lotion, skin moisturizer, and a disinfecting soap or like sanitizer. There is not much to say. Maybe I can feature this cool blue LED light, which adds a bit to the atmosphere. But overall, the bathroom is in a very clean state. Anyways, now I'm going to go back to my seat and maybe going to go flat to show you what the flatbed experience is like.
So once you go flat, you never go back. That's how comfortable and spacious especially the seats are on the 787 of Latam.
So the captain has announced our descent into Sydney. So we'll be on the ground in 20 minutes from now. And then on the ground, I'll give you a nice full summary of today's flight.
Volar con Latam, miembro de la alianza One World, completo y la señal de abrochar.
Thank you. Hi, thank you. So here I am in Australia. Latam was a bliss. It was very nice, and what particularly stood out for me was the cabin crew and how proactive they were, how they followed up on the passenger, even in a full cabin, you know. And I later, after the flight, went to see the cabin manager and I gave him a bit of feedback, and I think it's very important that you do that as well. Excuse me. That you do that as well. Tell the crew what you like about the flight. Tell them maybe what you didn't like. It helps them improve, or it's even going to make their day. They're very happy to hear that. They're extremely hardworking. So yeah, overall, it was a lovely flight. It was so much better than what I experienced like 2 years ago. Food was brilliant. The seat, of course, I think it's outdated and it's not the most comfortable. However, on a 3-hour flight, definitely a lovely product. I can strongly recommend it if you fly from Auckland or Sydney and you want to fly business for cheap. And I only paid $400 Australian dollars for the flight, which I think is pretty cheap if you consider what the normal prices are anyways. So if you like this review or think it was helpful, please give it a like. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of Latam and what other South American airlines I should try this year so I can finally make a trip to South America. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and wherever you're off to, have a safe trip, and see you in my next review.